After 8 sessions of coming together online, this incredible group of people got together in person, live, and these sparks of imagination and connection that were emerging through our red threads and our connections really came alive in this most beautiful space I have ever witnessed. When I arrived and there was other folks coming at the same time, it was like, I get to see you in person. And then we turned and looked and saw this magical place where you can just feel that there's a spirituality, a place of deep connection to humanity and nature. And so the care that was created over the last day and a half to imagine together has really been brought to life by the surroundings, by the imaginations of the people. So when we were chatting about what is a Small Nations Alliance, I come from Canada, which is often now referred to as Turtle Island because we have 600 First Nations. And so am I a small nation? Am I part of a small nation? And I think there's many truths when you start to unpack a term like small nations. And so to see the connections to Indigenous peoples, to see the connection to the bioregions within our community, and how are we sense-making geography and thinking a lot more borderless, and at the same time recognizing that scale and smallness can impact innovation and the ecosystem that you're trying to create. So to be around people who are in a small nation, and then to think about my own context of small nation has been really expansive. And in fact, that part happened today where I started to ask, are we a small nation? And I think questions and curiosity is what this has been about, and it's I think a yes and. I think that this alliance, or however we start to define this, is important because people came here ready for emergence and were open to it. And so when I think about being surrounded by nature, I think of the adaptive cycle with the infinity, where you're trying to birth something new and then grow the idea, and then it kind of does a bit of a deconstruction, and then it kind of emerges with something new, and kind of birth, growth, the deconstruction, and then like reimagining it. And so even over the last day and a half, we have done all of that. Where we ended up was way more into like, how will we continue this work together than I was expecting, because quite often it can be we're going to just talk about the vision for days. So I think we move past perfection and just like, what is good enough? What is possible together? And so I think I'm excited to see, where this goes. My best hope is that just to be surrounded with the bright minds, and the concept of unlearning and being like these provocations that kind of make you uncomfortable happened a few times during the few days together. And so I'm really curious about that, because I can get into the same patterns of thinking based on my own experience. And so to be kind of provoked and nudged to sit in discomfort, to sit in inspiration, is why I will show up to whatever this group does next. So I think the main contribution that I hope to make is to show up and be present. During this week, we had you as the official photographer, and then I was capturing unofficially. And so sometimes I like to be like, how do we capture the story, the images, the context in ways that might just be a little more informal. So I hope to bring that. To connect it to the Canadian ecosystem, I have been chatting about the concepts of social innovation and collaborative governance. So both in the context of where I work within the Community Foundation movement, but as well I teach governance, leadership, ethics, and so we talk about collaborative governance. So I realized in an academic setting, how do we translate that now into less academic settings? So I hope to be a bridge builder for that.
Mm-hmm.